All right, everyone, it is Friday and it is time for the Manufacturing E-Commerce Success Series. I am your co-host, Damon Pistolka, and yes, that is not Curt Anderson. So let's get going here today. We've got Gail Robertson, our guest co-host. I am so excited to have you here, Gail. How are things today?
Oh, it is great. I just got off the live show with Inger and right into this
Yeah.
show. And I'm so excited for today because we're talking LinkedIn and the power in LinkedIn and hearing some great stories. So
Awesome. That's great to have you here today, Gail. And we are going to be talking about LinkedIn for small B2B manufacturers. And we have none other than Paulie Rose today talking about that with us. And I can never get it right. How are you today, Paulie?
I'm great. It's so great to be here with both of you. Thank you.
Awesome. So how are things coming from St. Louis, Missouri today?
Things are good, although in St. Louis, the weather can change like every 15 minutes by a good 10, 15 degrees. So ask me at the end of the show. Well, it might be, rainy and freezing. You never know.
Well, we'll be prepared for it. So as we start out the show, and I'm going to do this as a, I don't know, the words are escaping me, as a dedicated to Curt. He always likes to ask our guests, as a young girl growing up, who inspired you?
That's a very cliche and easy answer given my role today, because I have to say my mom. And not only do I have to say that because she's my mom, but she's my boss. So I will say, as a young girl, in a million years, I would have never guessed that I would be working for the family business in the way that I am for my mother. But here I am. So it has to be mom.
Awesome. So Gail, I know you've got some questions teed up here for Paulie. So we're going to start out. And first of all, I want to say hello to Katie and James and who else? Valerie. Somebody I don't know. It might be Chris Young. I know when she shows up, it doesn't show. But hey, thanks everyone for being here so far. Let us know where you're coming in from. Questions in the chat, because we're going to be talking LinkedIn for small B2B manufacturers. Rebecca just showed up. Hey, she's from an Amtrak in Seattle. She's going by my house. What the heck? Amtrak runs right by us down here, about a mile away. So, yeah, drop some. If you got questions about LinkedIn, drop that in the chat, because if you're with a B2B manufacturer, we might be able to answer some of those today. We got Gina here. Hey, Gina. So, Gail, we're going to start off with Paulie's background and kind of how she got into this, helping people with LinkedIn. But I'm sure we're going to have some questions along the way and going to pull some tips out. So what are you thinking?
I think that's great. I think maybe to get things started is that, we have all these different social media platforms, right? There's so much available. So I want to start with why LinkedIn for manufacturing. Why is that the sweet spot?
Absolutely. So let me first, before I even answer directly why LinkedIn, give you a little bit of a story of how I discovered that LinkedIn was this golden opportunity for manufacturers. I started working for my family's manufacturing business, an aerospace manufacturing business, about 4.5 years ago. And I came to the business with little knowledge about marketing, with little knowledge about the aerospace industry, with little knowledge about the manufacturing industry. It was part of who I was because I grew up as the daughter of the people running the show with the business, but I had never really been actively involved. And when I came on to work for the company, there was very little by way of marketing. As I think, as I'm in it longer and longer, is the case for a lot of small B2B manufacturers. Mm-hmm. They might do some trade shows. There's a lot of word of mouth. There's some local publications, but there's not a lot of social media presence and not a lot of marketing per se in general. And I was somewhat familiar with LinkedIn from some previous work that I had done. And because I was so new to the whole scene, I thought, I'll give it a shot. I'll give it a try. And I got on LinkedIn and just started to play. I started to read a lot. I started to watch webinars and read books and tap into some of the broader scene of what marketers were doing, not in B2B manufacturing, not in small business, not in anything in my field, just in general, what were sort of best practices. And I think because I came to the scene without a lot of knowledge and background, I was able to pull from places and resources that people may be coming from within the industry or within the marketing world may not have ever considered. And what I discovered was that LinkedIn is the exact right social media network platform for small B2B manufacturers. It is the one platform where, first of all, people already tell you exactly what their title is and what they do. So much of the work of trying to figure out who to even talk to is done for you. It's right there. Secondarily, everybody who's on LinkedIn is here knowing that they are with a business focus, right? Nobody's here because they want to share. Well, there are some personal posts, and that's wonderful, and it brings out sort of the personal flavor of everything, but it's not solely about, posting your beautiful plate of dinner or, some of the other things that we see all the time on some of the other social media platforms. So people are here with a head for business. And so you don't have to stretch to go very far to find people who are looking for business solutions, business advice, business connections. Furthermore, there is this whole universe of users, billions of users that are quietly lurking, right? So they're not actively out there posting all the time in your face, but they are out there. I promise you that if you think your audience, your target audience is not here, they are here, they are listening, they are watching. And even if they're not interacting, they are seeing you, learning about you, discovering who you are. And so why LinkedIn for small B2B manufacturers? For all of those reasons. It really has proven to be truly a goldmine of opportunity. Since we started on LinkedIn at RCF Technologies, which is the company that I work for, a third of our new incoming business has come from relationships built and established here on LinkedIn over the past 4 years. So it is proof in the pudding. It works if you work it. I think that's a slogan for something else, but it really does work. And I'm so excited to be able to share what I've learned with other small manufacturers, because I think there's a lot of small business owners and marketers and other leaders in small B2B manufacturers, right? Many of us wear many hats, who just don't think it's really worth the investment or really gonna move the needle. And I'm here to tell you it really can, and it really does.
Wow. So a third, that is, Damon.
Yeah, we just need to, as Curt would say, we just need to take a pause there. Because you got a third of your business coming from LinkedIn now.
Yeah.
And you are a small B2B manufacturer that would typically be going out, trying to meet people at trade shows or at their companies and doing this. And you've found a third of your business originating from LinkedIn work.
What I love too best about Paulie, your story is, like I always say in some of the work I do too, lived experience. Like, this is not from something you've read. It's like you have actually connected. And I've talked to clients that say the same thing. And we often talk a lot about the stats, how many people are on LinkedIn and how many people aren't posting, but they're lurking. As you said, there's a lot of people watching you.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it really actually is even that much more of an opportunity if you're a person who can push yourself to go ahead and post something on LinkedIn. If 1%, I think is the last statistic that I read, 1% of LinkedIn users are putting out content. So that means that all of the 99% that are on LinkedIn are seeing your content. And that is another great reason for using LinkedIn. It's not some of the other social media platforms, because in places like Instagram or Facebook, you're competing against a far greater number of content producers. On LinkedIn, they're more likely to show your information because there isn't as much to post. So you have a greater opportunity to be seen when you're putting content out there.
Yeah, that's a great point. And a lot of people don't understand the metrics of really what you're talking about there, because you try to post on Instagram as whoever, whatever, you're competing against the Kardashians, every other brand in the world, and the people that are doing photography and baking cakes. You're going against everyone, right? And there's a lot of people who know what the hell they're doing in that space too. When you look at LinkedIn, it, because of the way it originated and stuff, you hit on, really, it is a gold mine for people that will take that 1% journey and build, post and really engage with people online.
Absolutely. And, I think that there's a lot of fear for those new to the platform or newly interested in putting content out there. I think there's a lot of fear that you're not doing it right, or how is it even supposed to work? And is anybody even going to see it? And the best advice that I can offer is just go for it. I read a great quote that I actually keep here on a little sticky note. It says, "Intellectual curiosity does nothing to help your business grow. Taking action does." So it's great to study and to learn. And really, that's how I learned. I always say I'm not a LinkedIn expert. I'm just a girl who's used the platform and learned along the way. And I'm sharing what's worked for us. But you can get lost in that rabbit hole of, I just want to read one more article and take one more course to understand how I'm supposed to build the post and do the post. Just do it. Just put something out there. The other amazing thing about LinkedIn is that it sort of levels the playing field, that you can get in touch with just about anybody you want to reach here. Sometimes we think when we're watching the feed and other people's posts that so-and-so is such a big name, there's no, connection between us. But the beauty and the magic that happens on LinkedIn is if you start to engage with their content, if you start to like their posts, leave a comment on their posts, they're going to start to notice you. And you can always reach out through the comments or even in a private DM, a private message, and connect with people. It happens all the time. And it really breaks those barriers between who we think are sort of the leaders and untouchables and the rest of us. It becomes this opportunity to have conversations in ways that just don't exist elsewhere, right? We've all tried to send a letter to get in touch with a big decision maker in a company, and chances are that email is not going to be answered or even opened in many cases. On LinkedIn, you're noticed and there's conversations happening and you get responses. So it's really a gateway to cut out all of those extra hoops you have to jump through just by being present and participating.
Oh, it's like a gateway drug to social media. You start with LinkedIn and then, bam, you're all in everything. LinkedIn, the new gateway drug to digital marketing.
Kaylee might be onto something. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, because what you're saying is true, because of the way that LinkedIn works, right? So say Gary V. We all know Gary V's got millions of followers, right? I have a friend of mine that friendly, and I don't know, social media stalking. I don't know. It's a bad way to say it, but he's a nice guy, and he really intently followed what Gary was doing last year for a while, and was making insightful comments in his post. Gary V mentioned him in a video.
Amazing.
And just go, okay, that's kind of cool. And he connected with him. First degree connection. It's
that says it all, doesn't it? That really says it all. And it's interesting. We talked a lot about getting out there and posting content and putting yourself being part of that 1%. But what you're talking about is really actually even a smarter place to start. And that is commenting, engaging, liking. Everybody's LinkedIn personal profile gives you the opportunity to put in a tagline, some words just below your personal profile that talk about whatever you want it to say. Honestly, some people just put in their job title, which I think is a missed opportunity. I always tell people to be very clear about who you are, what you do, and how you can help the people you're trying to serve. You want to be as clear as you can with that opportunity, because every single time you do anything on LinkedIn, whether you're liking somebody's post or commenting on somebody's post or publishing content of your own, your photo and your tagline will appear. And it's like free advertising. It is free advertising. It's like a billboard. I say that it's, you have a quick moment to make an impression, right? If you think about a billboard, you're driving down the highway and you see the big billboard off to the side, and you have just moments to sort of register what it is that company does or that person does. And, then you continue on your way and you get home and you think, oh, you know what? I need somebody to come and haul my trash. Let me call that, it plants a little seed. Yeah. And in LinkedIn, every action you take on the platform is planting a seed with potential buyers, with your potential audience. And so the more times that they can see your face, your logo, your tagline, the more you'll just be familiar to them. Mm-hmm. And so when I'm working with clients, I often say, don't even worry about posting content first. Start by just getting out there on the feed, liking things, following people, posting a comment in response to somebody's comment. And you see it cuts right through the noise that your colleague or your friend, whoever it was, went to the king of all social media and was noticed by Gary Vee. It works exactly in that way. And it's it is available for all of us to take advantage of. We just need to know that it's there and to get on and get started.
Well, I was just going to say, that is key. It is available to all that want to take advantage of it. That is so key. I had a guest on my show and he said, genius, something about genius isn't available to everyone, but opportunity is. And that's what it's all about. LinkedIn is opportunity. And I just want to, very meta here today too, David, because we have people commenting. So if you're on LinkedIn, you can actually join in shows like this, comment. And you're right. You can click on a person, see their title, see their information. Yeah. And Christina dropped the gem when she said, such an important point, Paulie. She says, everything changed when I started engaging on LinkedIn. And when you engage, that is where the magic happens. And I also want to do a call out to anybody that may be lurking there today. Maybe you've never commented. I would hope maybe someone who's never commented will drop a comment today and say hello. So if you're out there, whoever, where are you? Okay, say hello. Come on, make my day here and say hello here to us. Come on, make Paulie's day.
Please,
I think we do have a first-time listener here because I have not seen. I'm going back through the comments. We got Mark Schultz. I don't know that Mark is.
Hey, Mark.
But he's talking about Paulie's videos.
Yeah.
But,
thank you.
And the thing is, you're actually absolutely right, Gail. Is that these events like this are easy because you can just drop a hello, everyone. You can start by doing that. And as you said, Paulie, and Gail as well, this headline is key for you because every time you're engaged, you make that comment on a post, your headline's right there. I help people. I solve this problem,
Right. And it's an easy formula. We all can do it. If you just plug in, I help X do Y by Z. That's all it needs to be. It doesn't have to be more complicated than that. You just plug it right in and you've got some people call it headline, some people call it tagline, but Mark Schultz is a perfect example. Mark is all over Facebook, though you haven't met him before. He's a leader in the aviation world. He's got a lot of important things to share and to say. And anybody who's watching today who looks at the comments can now see Mark Schultz is a guy that I think I might want to know. And they can click over to his profile, make the connection, and it just opens worlds that you would otherwise not ever have access to. There are billions of LinkedIn users, and we all have our own little network of people that we're connected to. But if you talk about engaging, if one of you comments on a comment or a post that somebody else makes, not only is your photo and headline or tagline appearing, but you can then go in and see everybody else's. And then once you're connected with them, you can see who they're connected to. And it just is this tree that keeps growing and broadening. And you suddenly are in a world connected to people that you would have never otherwise known even to connect with. And, that's the social part of the social networking that really is impactful. It just really broadens your audience. It broadens your network. It broadens your support system. That's the other piece to LinkedIn, that it's not only about selling and doing business, but you really can find tremendous camaraderie and support system for your professional self. And we're talking specifically about B2B small manufacturers, but there is a universe of manufacturers on LinkedIn that is golden. Everybody is more willing than the next to lend a hand, give a piece of advice, make a connection, and business happens in that way, right? I mean, through a referral, through a connection, or, somebody will mention to me, oh, I heard so-and-so, and I think they might be interested in what you have. And so it goes. And so part of the beauty of LinkedIn is not just putting yourself out there to find new customers, but rather to network and to build your world of colleagues and potential customers. It's kind of like one ongoing big trade show, right? Your headline and your banner on your profile becomes your booth, like the sign for your booth. And so it's always up and it's always running. So you want to make it eye-catching. You want somebody to look at your booth and say, you know what, that looks interesting. That might apply to me. I think I'm going to come in, and they're going to click into your profile and they're going to see what's going on. And you're going to tell them straight out of the gate what it is that you do and how you can help them. And they scroll a little bit, read a little about you. They get to your featured section. That's kind of like window shopping, right? When you think about New York and window shopping, those windows are a big deal. Their whole point is to entice somebody walking by to stop in and check out what they have in the store. So if you think about it, building your LinkedIn presence in that kind of a way, you're not only connecting with people and looking for opportunities, you're attracting people who are looking for what it is that you might have to offer them.
I just want to take a moment here because Gail, you and I are both sitting here going, I hope everyone is thinking and listen to this, because you drop so much knowledge. You walk people through their headline into their profile, what it should say, how you invite people in to understand about you. Gail?
Well, look what Valerie just said. It's a constant trade show where your feet don't hurt. Okay, that is the comment.
There we go.
Val, I love that comment. That is so true. And I often, working with manufacturers, they will go into trade shows. They'll go do cold calls. They'll spend hours in a day just emailing. And I'm like, okay, you can spend a lot of time. People they do not pay attention to emails unless they know you. Like, I find my email feed, it's a lot of junk. But you get a comment on LinkedIn, oh yeah, all of a sudden that you take note. So I love the idea of what you said. It's like the analogy of, here's your trade show. So you can almost build your trade show, which is your profile. And even if you don't want to stand in your trade show, you can go walking around and visit other people.
Exactly. Yes. And that's still working for you. It's still doing the work. That's exactly right. And, I talk about, so in addition to being the director of marketing for RCF Technologies, I have started to do some consultation for other small B2B manufacturers. And where I start is really with the 3 foundational pieces to what makes LinkedIn work for you as a small B2B manufacturer. And like you said, it comes back to all of these things that we've already discussed. The 3 pillars of a strong LinkedIn foundation are exactly that. It's an optimized personal profile, getting that in good working order, because Gail, exactly like you said, even when your booth is up at the trade show, you don't have to stay in that booth all the time. It's always up there and it's always doing the work for you. The secondary piece is an optimized company page, which is something I want to actually spend a minute talking about, because there's some confusion about the company page. I think on the one hand, a lot of people think we're on LinkedIn for our business, so let's post to the company page. Don't really pay much attention to the profile page because that's just my personal whatever. But what is true today, and I do think actually it is beginning to shift, but what is true today is that your reach in your content is far greater through your personal profile than your company page. So if you're just getting started with posting content, my piece of advice, my takeaway for today is post to your personal profile, but don't ignore your company page. It is really important to complete your full company page. In fact, there's a statistic that I have here that says that if you just do the work of completing your company page, LinkedIn will ensure that you get 30% more weekly views than somebody who doesn't have it completely filled out. So again, like the trade show booth that's working for you when you're not working it, fill out your company page because it matters. It also builds your authority. It builds your trust. It builds your brand recognition. It is a really crucial part to this whole 3-section foundation that builds, right? If you think about a 3-legged stool, you need each of those 3 legs for that stool to be solid. You take one away and the whole thing falls. So you've got your personal profile, you've got your company page, which is equally as important, even though it doesn't get as much reach. And I really do think that this is beginning to change. If you're interested in learning more about company pages, there's a wonderful expert on company pages, Michelle J. Raymond, that I learn a lot from all the time. So you should check her out. But and I know that it's starting to change from LinkedIn's perspective, because we're getting prompts now every now and again saying, post to your company page. If you do it twice weekly, you'll get this many more views. So LinkedIn, I think, is putting some emphasis on company pages as well. So don't ignore your company page, but if you're just starting out, your profile page is going to get a broader reach. And by the way, take whatever you've posted to your personal page and post it to your company page too. Yeah. It's just double the bang for the buck, really. It can even be the same post. Just copy it and paste it to your company page. Better than sharing. Sharing will lower your distribution because of whatever the algorithm does. So don't press that share button that it prompts you to push, but rather copy it and paste it organically through your company page. And then the third element, that third leg of that 3-legged stool that I was referencing, are the 3 C's. And those are connections, conversations, and content. That's all of the work of being on the platform, broadening your conversations, connecting with other people, having conversations in the feed through comments and likes and support, and showing up to LinkedIn Lives. Because, by the way, if you click that you're going to attend a LinkedIn Live, even if you can't make it, first of all, it's going to mean that you can go back and watch the playback, which is helpful because there's lots of good information being shared all the time. But it, again, is a free billboard moment, right? Your picture and your tagline or headline appears. So anybody who's searching to see who attended that event has an opportunity now to see who you are, what you do, and reach out and connect with you. So it's just another bite at the apple.
That is,
another mic drop moment, because if you're came in late on this, rewind this thing and go back and listen to Paulie talk about this, because she walked through the why you want to do your company page, why your profile page, why it's important to have your headline set up and work through the whole thing. I will add one thing that you didn't address about your company page and your personal profile.
Please.
Get onto Google, go to incognito, search for your company. Your company is probably not the first website that comes up.
Right.
If you've got a LinkedIn profile for your company, it's probably the first one that comes up.
Yep.
That's an excellent point. Very true.
If you are not getting the results you want on Google when people search for your company, do that, because LinkedIn has a very high domain authority. And if you have a company profile with a fair amount of followers, you get over a few hundred followers, it really starts to help you show up in Google. And, do it for your competitors.
That's such a great point. And, it's interesting because one of the things that I really am excited about is that all of the success that we've had as a company using LinkedIn has come without spending a single dollar on ads. It's completely organic. And, to get a high ranking on Google, people pay a lot of money to boost their rankings. But this is another example of how just organically, by just opting in and participating, you're already getting this extra exposure, this extra boost in your Google ranking, this extra billboard opportunity, all these moments. Somebody earlier mentioned that I have done some videos. This is another example. Being new to this whole world, I had no idea. Do manufacturers make videos? Do they not? But I saw that some, big LinkedIn expert was talking about making videos. I said, I'll try that. And so I just started for free. I didn't hire a company. I didn't get special fancy machinery. I took my iPhone and I set it up and I turned on my lights and I recorded a quick video. And I have loads of tips if anybody's interested in being brave enough to try to record a video. It makes a huge difference. It makes you a face to the company. It personalizes your brand. It's an opportunity to share great information. And LinkedIn is so good in that it gives you so many opportunities, right? You can post a short post. You can post an article. You can post a carousel. You can post a video. There are a bunch of different ways. And I encourage everybody to try them all out. But also, if you're not into all of those different ways, find what works for you. There's no magic. I don't spend a lot of time focused on what the algorithm says you should do to bump. Just do what feels like you can do. Start somewhere. And even if you're posting, even if you're not posting, if you're just commenting, start there. That's a great place to start. You will start to see momentum. And then you might start with a post. And even if you post once a week only, do it consistently. The more consistent you are in showing up, the more traction you'll start to see. And then maybe you'll get a little braver and find a little more motivation and you'll post twice a week. Whatever it is, it doesn't have to be all consuming and it doesn't have to cost money. So like we were talking about earlier, Gail, it is just an opportunity that is there for everybody. And I hope it will stay that way for a long time to come. Who knows what will be in terms of what, the rules of the game how they might change from LinkedIn. But as of right now, it is really a free opportunity for you to get yourself out there, let your company be known, connect with buyers and customers and colleagues that you otherwise would never come in contact with.
And I would just add to that, because I think because you are doing some of the work, but I also would suggest that sometimes it is worth budgeting to have either help with it, or because good content will always prevail. And I have seen this happen. I've worked with clients where, when you have photos and you have stories, because people engage with stories. People,
absolutely,
like throughout history, right? You think about the once upon a time, people remember stories. They're not going to remember all of the, necessarily all of the details of what you're saying about trying to sell something. But if you tell a story about, how that impacted someone, or tell a success story or a case study. And, but so investing, I would say investing and sometimes bringing in, help to do that. I think it's really key. Damon, right? You do that too, right? With your business, you have, and the most successful people I've seen in manufacturing, just like, they invest in HR, they invest in IT, they invest in a lot of other things, because sometimes operations people need to focus on operations. So you need help.
It's great advice. And one of the things that I've started to do is to work with marketing agencies that are specifically geared towards manufacturers. And they're out there, guys. So don't think that you're just alone with no help out there. But I come in as a consultant as part of the onboarding process for a marketing agency, teach the foundations of this. This is my lane. I'm not a marketing agency. I'm not gonna, come up with your whole strategy and your whole content, all of the pieces of the content and the imagery and the website. But I come in through an agency, do this onboarding piece of teaching the fundamentals of LinkedIn, and then hand them over to agencies like Nicole Donnelly has an agency, Ruby Rosine. There are lots of wonderful, capable, excellent marketing agencies that can help you as a manufacturer take those next steps.
Yeah. And Gail, go ahead. Sorry.
Well, no, you go ahead. I think there's some really good information. I just want to also go back to, I think the idea of, a company page and personal page again, and you mentioned domain authority. So there might be some people, I'm just thinking, not so many people in the comments, but some lurkers that may, just to stress again, and I'm all about, you want to do great content, not just try to always think algorithm, but you do want to please Google at times when it comes to, so make sure you have, LinkedIn is considered very high. Google, and that's why it's so great to be involved, because it gets like top marks from Google. So personally, if you have a profile and you have some content there, when people are searching, you're going to come to the top. And you're right, you can't usually get to that top of that page one, because that saying, if you want to bury a body, page 2 of Google, right? So.
And something that will help boost you as well are the videos.
Yes.
And just to tie back to something that you said, Gail, with stories, it is so helpful to talk about stories. And it also can help for those of you out there who might be feeling like, well, what am I going to say? I make, plastic parts that go, I don't really have a story to tell. Share stories. That's, it makes it far easier, right? If I just have recorded, some of the videos that I've recorded are just stories of how we've created a solution for a particular customer. And I share that story. Gail, you did a great job of sharing a story about the hockey rink trade show moment. It sticks with people. It helps people connect to you and relate to you. And it helps to boost your ranking when you have a video that goes along with sharing a solution that you offer.
And one thing back to the story that's really important on LinkedIn, you have to remember, connect the dots back to that 1%, only 1%. So I often hear this, I go, well, everybody does this. And I go, yes, but not everybody is talking about it. So you may be making whatever, or making a part or a tool or a mold in the world I'm working, or in aerospace, various products.
Yeah.
And okay, 99% of people aren't telling their story. So tell your story, and all of a sudden your story, because, I'm a recovering journalist, right? So I'd said, when you do a story about someone, there may be other people with similar stories, but what got them to the top, or what got them noticed, was that, as Damon says, they also were often the red M&M and the bowl of green. They're that person that they did something. And sometimes it's just raising your hand. Hello, I'm over here. And the media right now too, there's so much opportunity to get noticed.
There is so much opportunity to get noticed. And the other sort of the flip side to that is that buyers are online researching.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
There are statistics out there. I think the last thing I read was 9 out of 10 buyers are researching online before they ever contact somebody from sales, or before they ever contact a company. And there is evidence that 74% of buyers, I'm just checking my little statistic here, will choose to go with a company, with the first company that provided them a piece of value. And if we think about it in our own lives and our own, the way that we make decisions, when there are loads of companies that all do the same thing. Sometimes we don't know where to start, and we start to research online, we start to see, And when you come across a company that gives you information that you think is valuable, establishes them as sort of an expert in their field, you think they know what they're talking about, I trust that that's true. You're not going to go on to search the 12 pages of Google opportunities. You're going to say, I learned something from them. They clearly know what they're talking about. Let me inquire further there. And so because buyers are out there doing research online before they ever call a company, and it's very true in the manufacturing world, be the company that they find, right? If they're researching and you're not putting out content, they cannot find you to do that initial information find. And so they're going to end up going elsewhere, even if you're a better option for them, even if you have a better product, even if you have a better buying experience, whatever the case may be. If you're not out there in this day and age producing content that people can find online, you will be overlooked. And believe me, if they're out there researching and you're not putting out the information, they're going to find it from your competitors. And that's where they're going to go. So you want to be top of mind. You want to be always looking for opportunities to add value, right? And for me, I sort of categorize value as falling into 4 different buckets. So if I'm posting something to LinkedIn, I always want to think about it in terms of how is this going to add value? So value, the best and golden way to add value is to educate. So if you can do a post that educates somebody, entertains, motivates, or empathizes, you're adding value to somebody's day. So that's just some sort of framework that you can use and check yourself if you are getting ready to put some information out there. Does it check one of those boxes? Am I adding value? Because again, if a potential customer is looking online or even just by chance scrolling the feed, if they find that you've offered them something of value, the chances that they're going to come back to you when they're ready to buy, which is not always, a one-for-one. It doesn't always come immediately, especially in the world of B2B manufacturing. Yes. We have clients that come back and say, 2 years ago, I connected with you on LinkedIn, and I remember now that I need. So be patient. There's no silver bullet. It takes time, but put out content that is valuable because it will come back to you. It will pay off in the end.
Just we're just going to soak that in for a moment. We're getting near the end here, but I just want to soak that in for a moment because you are so right. In manufacturing, it's not an instant buy. No. We're not buying a pair of shoes here. We're probably spending hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. Like to understand who they're doing business with. I mean, we this week we just started working with a client that we first talked to 4 years ago. I mean, this kind of stuff has happened because really John Baglino says it's best, hunt the relationships, right? Hunt the relationships. LinkedIn is a place to build these long-term relationships. I was talking to Davey Warren yesterday. He's a HubSpot architect. He's not a marketer, HubSpot architect. He said, I love it when I can talk to somebody today that I'm going to do business with years away because I want to plant those seeds, like you're saying, with the content, the education, the motivation, that when, as you just said, the time is right, they know it's time to talk to me.
That's exactly right. And LinkedIn just offers it up to you on a silver platter. It's all right there for the taking. It is an invitation to make those connections in ways that you can go to a trade show every week of your professional life and you won't meet as many people as you can connect with here on LinkedIn. Just with a few clicks of the button, just, of the keyboard, just in an hour's worth of time, even it's right here offered up to us. And it doesn't have to be overwhelming. It doesn't have to be overly confusing. If you break it down and start somewhere, and I would recommend you starting with those 3 foundational elements, right? Start with your personal profile, your company page, and then start to just get in the feed, comment on people's, or even just like a few.
Yeah, just like it.
You're going to start to show up and people will start to find you and you'll start to find others that you want to connect with. And it starts to build on itself. And 4 years later, the fact that you're now talking to, somebody that took 4 years to get to the place that they're ready to buy is exactly case in point. It is a slow build, but the traction happens, and it's impactful. It's really impactful.
And here's the correlation back to trade shows again, because I've heard this even from clients of mine that said when they go to a trade show, they invest all this money into 1, 2, 3 days, like a lot of money and a lot of time, not even the money just to get everything set up. Then you figure all the time and your resources, getting people there. And they sometimes don't get business for years, sometimes 4, 5, 6, 7 years later, they connect it back to a talk they had because, and this is why manufacturers, it is so key to take what you do on trade show, and it's going to cost you so much less. And Greg Mischio talks about this, the digital twin. You have an opportunity to use LinkedIn as another way, like another salesperson, another way to get leads. So, and it doesn't take that much time. And if you think you don't have the time, then you call someone like a Paulie. There's people out here, and I do the same. Paulie does say there's people out here you could reach out to and say, who can help me? And, we do the same. We do it with IT, we do it with so many other things, but we think marketing, all of a sudden it's like, oh, well, I'll, try to do it myself. It's like me trying to fix my toilet or something. I'm like, I had to get my son come put my bike rack together for me because I ordered it. It says easy to assemble. No, it's not. So
easy for your son to assemble.
Yep. Oh, it's not easy for him, not for me. But I called it an expert.
Right.
Yeah, that's right. Well, I just wanted to drop a few of the people's comments. I mean, we got great comments about Paulie. Just lots of good stuff.
Hi,
Talked about John. We got
Diane. My mom.
Oh,
all right, there you go.
Oh, we got to go back and say a big hi to Mom. Let's give a shout out to all the moms in the world.
Yep.
Hello. Yep. Hi, Mom.
There you go, Mom. Awesome. Good stuff here. And then a slow burn, like a good book.
Oh, that's good, Katie. I like it.
And then look at this from Vacation Land.
Hey, Curt.
Hey, Curt.
How am I doing, Curt?
I think next time Curt's on the show, he should come in a red wig.
He needs a wig.
Yep.
Or I come with my, there we go.
Oh, there you go. Right. One or the other.
Yeah. But Gail, any parting thoughts here?
Well, I just think what I really like is hearing Paulie's background story and also hearing some really, very practical tips today. Like I think today is really all about starting the best time to start today. Just start. Now we see some people in the comments that are already using LinkedIn. They're kind of on board, but I bet you there's some people out there listening, the lurkers that maybe, but there was a few new names I saw. So I would say the biggest takeaway is just start. Paulie, that is the best advice today. Just get out there and start because it will make it. This isn't just like we don't have stats on this. Paulie and I have talked about this. We work with clients. We know without a doubt it works. So thank you, Paulie, for confirming. And because this made me feel like, yes, I know I'm right.
Little confirmation there.
Confirmation.
Yeah. Well, thanks for that, Gail. Paulie, what are your parting thoughts for someone that is a lurker out there, but they want to take that next step?
I would say the first place to start, as we've talked about before, is just to start following people that you might be interested in. You might even say, how do I even find the people that I want to be interested in? Just do a plain old search right at the top of LinkedIn. It gives you an opportunity to search. Type in whoever your sort of standard buyer is, right? For us in my business, in RCF Technologies, we work with a lot of design and M&P engineers. So I would just type right into the search bar, M&P engineer in aerospace, and it'll give you a whole list of people that you can start to follow. It's a great first place to start. Click on somebody's profile, start to see what they put out there, start to follow some of the companies and posts and other people that they follow, and just begin to show up in the feed. And certainly if I can answer any personal questions, I'm always available. I know that both you, Gail, and Damon are available. It's really, there's a great community of people out here on LinkedIn who are available to help, to lend a hand. We've all been there. We've all started somewhere. So certainly feel free to connect, reach out through my LinkedIn page, through my website, paulierose.com. There's some free resources on there, newsletter. We all want to help each other. We all want to see, there's room for all of us to succeed. So I encourage you just to start, as Gail said. You don't have to begin by posting videos or content. Just maybe fill out another section of your profile. Connect with a new person. Those are all good places to begin.
Awesome advice. Once again, I'm just taking it in for a moment and basking in the knowledge you shared with us here. Breathing it in. As Curt says, we're just going to breathe it in. Well, I just want to thank everyone for being here today. And if you haven't commented, hey, that's cool. We like to have you listening anyway. People that commented, appreciate that as well. Gail, thanks so much for being an awesome co-host, because I don't have to talk a lot when you or Curt are here, and I love it because I can just, a little bit. But and Paulie, thanks so much, because you shared some real golden nuggets here.
Thank you for having me. It's really a pleasure.
Go back. Yes. Thanks so much. Sorry, I was cutting over the top of you there. I'm just excited about this. And people should go back and listen to this because you dropped some real nuggets. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
And remember, LinkedIn is your gateway drug to digital marketing in manufacturing. I'm gonna have to do a tweet about that. I'm feeling, or a TikTok. I don't know. There's something happening here in my head.
What's going on there? Well, awesome, everyone. We're done. We're done for today. We're gonna be out. I don't think we got a show next weekend because we have a holiday in the US here, and we're gonna take the weekend off. We're gonna be back again. Ingor just dropped in. If you didn't see Ingor's live today, I don't know how long ago, like 3 hours. It was hours.
Yeah.
Celebrating her 1 year. But thanks so much, everyone, for being here today. Have a great weekend. Bye.
Bye-bye.